Hi, I'm Graham Lewis, and in this video we're going to discuss adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So this is when we have a whole number, like 3, and a fraction, like a half. That's called a mixed number or a mixed fraction, because this is a whole number, and this is a fraction. And we'll start with adding, and we'll do a couple of examples of adding, and then we'll look at subtracting. And I'll show you some different ways of doing the subtracting, which can be a bit trickier. So the adding, this is how I like to do the adding one. I like to think of 3 and a half as 3 add a half. And I like to think of 2 and 4/5 as 2 and 4/5. And what I'm actually going to do is add the whole numbers together. 3 add 2 is 5, and then use equivalent fractions to add a half and 4/5 together. So a half add 4/5, I'm going to write them as tenths. So a number out of 10 and a number out of 10. And so I multiply top and bottom by 5 here. So 1 times 5 is 5. So a half is equivalent to 5/10. And I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2 here, 2 over 2. So 4/5 is equivalent to 8/10. What have I got now? I've got 5 plus 13/10. But we're not quite there, because 13/10 I can write as a mixed number. 10 goes into 13 once, remainder 3, which still needs to be divided by the 10. So I've got 5 and 1/3, which is the same as 6 and 3/10. So that's one way of adding 3 and a half to 2 and 4/5. Now I'm going to show you another way, which I don't like as much, but you may prefer. So I'm going to do the same question again, which is 3 and a half add 2 and 4/5. So what I'm going to do here is actually write them both as improper fractions. So 3 in terms of tooths is actually 6 over 2, isn't it? So I can write the 3 as 6 over 2 plus a half, and here the 2 is obviously 10 over 5 plus 4/5. So what I'm doing is taking the 3 and a half and writing it all as tooths. So 3 and a half is 7 tooths. Not 7 teeth, 7 tooths, ha ha ha. Now 10/5 add 4/5 is obviously 14/5. So all I'm doing is taking away the mixed part of the number and writing it as an improper fraction. Now I'm going to write them both over 10. So I've got to multiply by 5 over 5 here. So 2 times 5 is 10, that's good. 7 times 5 is 35. So I'm just multiplying top and bottom by 5. Here I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2 to get the 10 on the bottom. So it's going to be 28 over 10. You can see I don't like this way as much because the numbers get bigger. 35 add 28 is 63. So I'm left with 63 over 10. But I'm not finished because it's a improper fraction. So let's finish it as a mixed number. 10 goes into 63 6 times, leaving me with 3/10, remainder 3, which is divided by tenths, which is the same answer as I got before. So you can choose which method you prefer there. Okay, now the second method might be better when we're actually subtracting fractions. Let's have a look at subtracting fractions. So let's do 4 and 2/5 minus 2 and 4/5. So on this question, we've actually got that they're already fifths. So I'm making this one slightly easier. So basically, I'm going to write them both as improper fractions now. This is, my opinion, the easiest way to do subtraction. So what I'm going to do is 4 and 2/5 I'm going to write as over 5. So 4 is 20 divided by 5. I'll show all the working. So 4 is 20 divided by 5, and I've got 2/5. Minus 2 is 10 divided by 5, because 10 divided by 5 is 2, and then I've got an add 4/5 there. So I'm changing the 4 and 2/5 to 22/5, and I'm changing the 2 and 4/5 to 14/5. And you can do that in your head if you want, that's fine. And then I can count how many fifths I've got. I've got 22 minus 14, so I've got 8/5. And to finish it off, let's write that as a mixed number. 5 goes into 8 once, remainder 3 still needs to be divided by the 5. So that's one way of doing it. Write them all as improper and it always works. That's probably my favourite way of doing it. However, let me show you another way. So 4 2/5 minus 2 4/5. So what we've got here actually is 4 add 2/5 minus 2 minus 4/5. That's what we've got there. 4 and 2/5 minus 2 and 4/5. So the 4/5 is subtracted there. And now I can do the 4 take away the 2, which is 2. So now I've got plus 2/5 take away 4/5. Well, 2 take away 4 is minus 2. So I've got 2 minus 2/5. And some of you might be able to do that in your head and get the answer 1 3/5. If not, don't worry, write 2 as over 5. It's 10 over 5 minus 2 over 5. So that's 8 over 5. And we get the same answer as before, 1 3/5, which is exactly what we got before. So there's a different way of doing it. You have to choose which way you prefer, which you think is safest for you. So we're going to do 2 more. I'm going to give you an adding one first. So this is example, I think we're on example 51, aren't we? It's been a long video for sure. So we're going to start off with 5 3/7 add 3 1/4. So I'm going to pause the video and you're going to work that out and then I'll go through it. So pause the video, you try it, and then I'll work it out, whichever method you want. Okay, so let's go through this. So I'm going to do it the method with the 5 add the 3 is the 8, and then I'm going to do 3/7 add 1/4. And I'll just leave the 8 there. 7 and 4, what's the smallest number that they're going to? 7, 14, 21, 28, isn't it? Yeah. So 28. Well, if I multiply 3/7 by to get over 28, 4 over 4. So 3 times 4 is a 12. So 12/28 is equivalent to 3/7. What if I multiply the 4 by to get the 28? 7. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 7 over 7, and 1 times 7 is a 7. So now I've got 8 add 19/28. This isn't improper, it's not top heavy, and it's in its simplest form, only 1 goes into those 2, so we're actually finished. 8 and 19/28. Hope you got it right. If not, try it again. And we're going to go on to our last example, which says number 72. So this time I'm going to pick 5 1/3 minus 4 1/2. So pause the video, try it on your own, see how you get on, and then I'll go through it. Okay, I'm going to go through it now. So I'm going to do it the way of writing it all as improper. All as fractions, because I think it's safer with subtraction. But if you want to do it the other way, you can, that's fine. And hopefully you get the same answer. So 5, if I'm counting in thirds, is 15 over 3, isn't it? 15 divided by 3 is 5. So here I've got 15 thirds plus 1/3. That's what the 5 1/3 here is. Minus 4, written as halves, is 8 halves. So I've got 8 halves and I've got another half there. So 5 thirds is the same as 16 thirds. You can check you've got it right. 3 into 16 goes 5 times, remainder 1. So you know you've got it right. Minus 4 1/2 is the same as 9 over 2. And you know you've got that right because 9 over 2 is 4.5, 4 1/2. So you can see it's got it right. All right, so now all I need to do is write it as now in equivalent fractions. So what number does 3 and 2 go into? 6. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom here by 2 over 2, and 16 times 2 is 32. What number do I have to multiply 2 by to get 6? 3. So I'm going to multiply the top and bottom of that fraction by 3 over 3, and I get 27 over 6. Now I can do the subtraction because I'm counting sixths. Don't make that classic error. You're not counting 12s. You're counting sixths. So I've got 32 sixths minus 27 sixths. So clearly I'm counting sixths. And how many of them I've got? 32 minus 27 is 5. And that's it. 5 sixths. So that's how to add and subtract mixed fractions. Okay, thanks very much everyone. If you finish this video, you might be ready for the next one, which is going to be fractions 4. Okay, keep going onwards and up. You're doing great.